Hey guys, it's Julie again with Yoginiology.com. So in this video we're going to go over drop backs into Urdhva Dhanurasana, which can be really scary because you just really have to let go. You have to trust that you're going to be okay. And you really don't know what's going on back there upside down. So you have to put a lot of faith into the pose, and you also want to make sure that you have a good foundation first. So before we even start to play with drop backs, we need to make sure that the pose you're dropping back to is okay for you. So that pose is Urdhva Dhanurasana, upward facing bow. So we're just going to go over that pose really quick. Make sure that you are comfortable there, you're set up there well, you have a good foundation, because if that is not in place and you're dropping back into a pose that is a tough pose and you're maybe not quite ready for it, then it's best to stay on the ground, on the mat, working on that pose before we even consider dropping back into anything. So just to make sure, you're going to start sitting down, whilst you're lying down, on your back. You want to make sure that your feet are just in front of the knees, about hip width apart. You're going to press down through the feet and a lot. You're going to bring your hands up into robot arms. So elbows down. Push down into the mat. Squeeze your shoulder blades together just a bit and then bring the arms out again. You're going to bend the elbows. Bring the hands by the ears. And you want your fingers facing the toes. You're going to press down through the hands, press down through the feet, and then keeping the knees hip width apart, elbows shoulder width apart. You're going to lift the hips up, stop for a moment on the top of your head, pull the shoulders back into place, squeeze the elbows, and then press up. So if this is not comfortable, if knees are going wide like this, elbows are going wide, arms are shaking, we want to get really strong here first. And there's a couple of things you can do to practice that pose. You can use blocks either under the hands or the feet, which can give you a little extra lift. You can get a buddy to kind of help guide you up into it, maybe provide you with a little bit of strength. You can actually grab onto a person's ankles if you have a buddy, and that position of the hands makes it a little more accessible for you to get up into that pose. So I would work on that if that doesn't feel comfortable. If that's comfortable, easy peasy, you got it. Then we can start moving into drop backs. Today we're going to work on drop backs with the wall, just because this is kind of an intro to drop back, so I'm not just going to drop back and tell you guys to go for it. So I love using outside walls because they tend to have a little more texture for your hands. So as you're dropping back, you don't feel like you're slipping. You can do it inside, of course, but if you happen to have a wall, such as the cinder block wall that I'm going to use, you'll find that it does provide you with a bit more stability. So to begin, we're going to stand. We're not going to get right onto the wall just yet. We're going to stand in Tadasana. Make sure that the feet feel like they are glued to the earth. So that's key, because as you drop back, you need to feel like you're super stable in this position. So feet glued down into the earth. We're going to put a little bend in the knees and inhale, reach the arms up, come into Utkatasana chair pose. The reason we're doing this is when you're dropping back, we want to make sure we're creating a shelf for the neck with the shoulders, because if you allow the head just to fly back, it can put a lot of stress and pain on the neck. So to make that shelf, I want you to imagine you're hanging onto the edge of a cliff, and this is lengthening the sides of your body a lot. So like you're hanging on, you're gripping, and you are pulling your spine really long. Because that's the other key of drop backs, is making sure that the spine is long so that we're not just bending on a crunched spine, which is no good. So you're reaching up, and as you reach, you'll notice that your shoulders move up by the ears. This is good. We want to keep them there, start to bend the elbows, straighten the legs, but notice my shoulders are still rising. You're going to lift the chest, push the hips, and just start to go back. And you can just work there for a little bit, right? Shoulders stay up. I'll show it from this way. Shoulders stay up, gripping onto a cliff, elbows bend, heart lifts, push, and come up. And just work there. Make sure that you feel that the neck is supported. Once you feel good there, we're going to move up against our wall. So first time you do this, it's kind of, where do I want the wall? And it's different, obviously, because we're all different heights. So a good rule of thumb is you'd want to not be able to touch it from where you're standing, but you do want to be able to lean forward and touch it with your fingertips, right? Just a bit. So I'm leaning forward, my feet aren't moving, just touching it with your fingertips is probably right about where you want to stand. So you're going to turn around, gather up your courage, make sure your feet are glued to the ground, right? They don't lift up. If they start to lift up, don't do it, right? You want to feel like they're super, super glued. They won't lift up because you're pushing down a lot. Just as we did, bend the knees, arms come up, grab onto the cliff, lengthen all through the sides, pull, 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 pull. Then start to straighten the legs, bend the elbows, start to go back, lift, lift, lift. Now you don't want to go for the wall until you see it. Okay, see it? Start to go back. Hands touch. This is good. My feet are still pressing into the earth. Slowly, very slowly, you start to walk down. Try to keep the elbows in. Bend the knees, push away. Slowly start to walk down. And take your time. Make sure the feet continue to press. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Slide the hands down. Okay, once the hands are down, take a few breaths. Urdhva Dhanurasana. Now you can drop down from here. If you want to try coming back up, same idea. Go nice and slow. Try to come up with an even back. So we don't want to go to one side. You're going to come up just the way you did before. Head comes up. Woo. Ta-da. You did it. Drop backs. Fun, tough, scary, exhilarating. All of those things. Practice with the wall. Eventually, you'll have the courage to go back and just do it in the middle of a room. Really good job. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see. Have a lovely day. Namaste.